Have you ever started a new habit just full of motivation, only to find yourself right back where you started, like a week later? Yeah, we've all been there. But here's the thing, you're not lazy, and it's not about a lack of willpower. The problem is your system. So today, we're going to unpack the incredible framework from James Clear's Atomic Habits. It's basically a guide to redesigning your life, one tiny change at a time.
So here's our roadmap. First, we're going to figure out why our best intentions usually fall apart. Then we'll get into the mind-blowing power of small compounding habits. After that, we'll break down the 4 simple laws that actually run all of our behaviors, shift our focus to identity, which is huge, and finally, we'll give you a whole toolkit of strategies you can literally start using today. All right, let's get into it. All right, so first up, let's talk about that feeling, that universal frustration of starting strong with a new habit and then just falling off track. It's a super common experience, and, the reason why is actually a lot simpler than you'd think. I mean, we've all been there, right? You have that burst of January energy, you're all in, and then slowly but surely, old patterns just creep back in. But what if the problem isn't the goal, or even how badly you want it? What if we've all been playing the game with the wrong rulebook? This quote right here, this is the heart of the entire book. It just completely reframes the whole problem. Think about it for a second. Winners and losers, they often have the exact same goals. The person who succeeds and the person who fails both wanted to win, right? The difference isn't the goal, it's the system. It's that collection of daily habits that really determines where you end up. If your system is flawed, you'll always fall back to it, no matter how big your goals are. So, if setting these big, audacious goals isn't the real answer, then what is? Well, the solution is in this idea of atomic habits. We're talking changes that are so small, so easy to do, and yet they are the source of some pretty incredible power. Clear introduces this idea that's basically compound interest, but for self-improvement. It's so easy to brush off a tiny change because, in the moment, it doesn't feel like it makes a difference. But the long-term math? That tells a totally different story. So just think about it. Getting just 1% better at something each day, it's barely noticeable. Just a tiny little step forward. But what happens when you keep that up, when you stick with that tiny daily gain, day in and day out over a full year? The result is absolutely staggering. You end up 37 times better. This just perfectly shows that your trajectory, the direction you're headed, matters so much more than where you are right now. Good habits make time your ally. Bad habits make it your enemy. But here's the crucial part, and honestly, it's the reason so many of us give up. For a long time, it can really feel like you're going nowhere. Clear calls this the plateau of latent potential. A great way to think about it is like an ice cube in a room that you're slowly heating up. From 25 degrees to 31 degrees, it looks like nothing is happening. But all that work, all that energy isn't wasted. It's being stored. That breakthrough moment when the ice finally melts only happens at 32 degrees. Your effort wasn't pointless. It was just building up potential. Okay, so now that we understand the why behind these tiny habits, let's get into the how. And this is where it gets really practical. Clear gives us a simple, super memorable model for understanding and engineering any habit. Every single habit you have, good or bad, follows this exact 4-step loop in your brain. The cue is the trigger. The craving is the motivation. The response is the actual habit. And the reward is what satisfies that craving, which then tells your brain, hey, let's do that again. For example, your phone buzzes. That's the cue. You suddenly have this desire to know who messaged you. That's the craving. You pick up the phone and check it, the response. You satisfy your curiosity, the reward, and boom, just like that, the loop is reinforced for next time. And this right here, this is the entire system on a single slide. It's the master framework. To build a good habit, all we have to do is engineer the process using these 4 laws. You make the cue obvious, you make the craving attractive, you make the response easy, and you make the reward satisfying. And the really cool part? To break a bad habit, you just flip them. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. This is literally the control panel for redesigning your own behavior. Now, let's get to what might be the single most powerful idea in this whole book. It's this idea that lasting change isn't just about what you do, it's about shifting your beliefs about who you are. See, most of us approach habits from the outside in. We start with the result we want, like I want to lose weight. But Clear argues that we should work from the inside out. The goal isn't just to read a book. The goal is to become a reader.
When you focus on who you want to become, that is the most powerful kind of motivation there is.
And this leads to such a profound idea. Your habits are how you embody an identity. Each time you go for a run, you're casting a vote for I am a runner. Every time you write a single page, you're casting a vote for I am a writer. These little wins start to build up evidence for your new identity. And that's what makes the change feel meaningful and, more importantly, sustainable.
Okay, so let's get to our final section and see how all of this comes together with some really practical, actionable techniques you can start using right away.
For law number 1, make it obvious. We've got a few tools. First, instead of a vague goal like, I'll meditate more, get super specific with an implementation intention. I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. Second, you can piggyback on your existing routines using habit stacking, which we'll look at next. And finally, the most reliable driver of your behavior is your environment. If you want to read more, don't hide your book in a drawer. Put it right on your pillow. Make the cue impossible to miss.
And this shows habit stacking perfectly. The idea is that the reward of one habit becomes the trigger or the cue for the next one. You end up creating this chain of positive behaviors. You're basically leveraging the routines you already have instead of trying to start from scratch. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. See how that works?
Now, to make habits attractive, you can try something called temptation bundling. This is where you pair something you need to do with something you want to do. Like you only let yourself listen to your favorite podcast while you're at the gym. And to make it easy, use the 2-minute rule. Any new habit, just scale it down so it takes less than 2 minutes. Read every day becomes read 1 page. The goal here is to just master the art of showing up.
And finally, we have the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. Our brains are just hardwired for instant gratification. See, the first 3 laws help you do the habit this time. This 4th law is what gets you to come back and do it next time. This is how you survive that plateau of latent potential we talked about. By giving yourself some small, immediate win, you stay motivated even when the big results haven't shown up yet. So track your streak, and if you miss a day, just live by one simple rule: never miss twice.
So let's just recap the whole system real quick. Forget your goals, focus on building systems for 1% daily improvements. Use the 4 laws as your guide. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. To break a bad habit, just flip them. And always remember, the real goal isn't just to do something new, it's to become someone new. So we'll leave you with this question. Not a huge life overhaul, but just one small atomic action. What's one thing you can do in less than 2 minutes that starts building the evidence for the person you really want to be? Because that, right there, is where real change begins.